Hello and welcome to our final episode of our World War II weapon guide. In this episode, the SVT-40. Rounding out the rifles, this Russian rifle was captured in many qualities during Operation Barbarossa and was used by the Germans in return. In the game, damage is high for the SVT-40. Very similar to that of the Type 5 and the M1 Garand. You'll be killing within 2 to 3 shots, or 2 straight headshots. Your range is very impressive, much like the Garand, at 50 meters, and your penetration ability is average, much like all the other rifles that you get in-game. However, it is one of the slowest rate of fires within the category. It'll be going around 257 rounds per minute. Or with rapid fire, it will be increased slightly to 273 rounds per minute. Your hipfire, however, is going to be higher, much like the M1 Garand, so this weapon isn't going to be used when it comes to closer ranges. You should rely on your secondary weapon or your bayonet instead. Recoil, however, is higher and will be kicking upwards after each shot, so every time you're going to be firing, this weapon is going to kick higher and higher, fouling your aim at longer ranges. Your aim time, however, is going to be standard at 250 milliseconds, and your speed is on average too, at 95% of the base speed. Magazine size, however, is very low, as expected with any other marksman rifle, at just 10 rounds, or with extended magazine this will increase to 50% more, at just 15 rounds. Your reloads, however, are going to be more on the moderate side. You're going to be reloading within 2.23 seconds. This build, you could use this weapon as an ideal marksman class if you have good trigger discipline. However, this weapon is also very useful at taking on opponents at closer ranges too, thanks to the good damage on this weapon. So to kick off our attachments, we're going to be using an optic of your choice. The SVT-40 does have some pretty bad iron sights, so no doubt any kind of optic will give you some useful benefits. For more medium ranges, you should be using the lens sight or the reflex sight. However, if you prefer more longer ranges, then the 4x scope is definitely going to be working for you. Next up, to counteract with that accuracy, we're going to be using the grip, giving you better recoil at the longer ranges, and plus you can fire more without pause, and you can take on opponents at longer ranges too should you wish. The weapon is quite versatile with a lot of attachments. You could use the bayonet for closer ranges, or even steady aim, or you could even use the extended magazine to increase the magazine size greatly, so you don't have to reload as much. For basic training, we're going to be starting with Blitzkrieg. Instead of using regular score, we're going to be using kills instead and getting our score streaks. So with the recon plane, you'll be able to get 4 kills instead of just 500 points. So you'll be able to rely on kills more than just getting regular score. Next up, we're going to be using Hunker. Since you are going to be using this weapon at around a medium semi-long range, you're going to be prone to explosives. So you'll be able to sponge a few explosives at the same time, making you very useful at longer ranges, and you won't be able to be pronged from your nest. Another good idea too on the side is also Rifleman. You are going to be exposed at closer ranges, so an SMG or shotgun of your choice will no doubt surprise them and you'll be able to take them on at a closer range now. So for divisions, you can choose up to 3. Infantry is very good if you want a more gun-centric build. For more close quarters awareness, you could use resistance, or if you want to be having less flinch or having less explosive damage, stuns, or anything of that particular matter, you could use just armored. For equipment, however, you could use the frags, stun grenades, the S-mine, or even the signal flare, but always have an able secondary in cases you have enemies coming at closer ranges. So in conclusion, the SVT-40 is very similar to that of the M1 Garand. It is a high punching power of a weapon and has impressive range. You'll be able to kill within 2 to 3 shots in every situation. And you can tackle enemies not just at longer ranges, but also at closer range if you want to feel a little bit more ballsy. However, there is a few setbacks when using the SVT-40. It has a higher recoil for starters, a bad hipfire so you'll be unable to take on opponents at closer ranges, or at point blank ranges in this case, a slower rate of fire, and you're going to have a low ammo count because of it only carrying 10 rounds. So overall, it is a high marksman rifle, so if you want to use it at medium ranges you can use it, or at closer ranges this can work too. Just do be aware that you couldn't be using this at point blank ranges. Thank you all very much for watching the series. Be sure to like, favorite, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and be sure to look at my Facebook page down below. Unfortunately, this marks the end of the series. I'm going to be needed elsewhere, and I'm planning on other stuff as well. But I'm going to be explaining it within the next video, which will happen within a week or two. Until then, GalacticStorm saying, thank you again very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.